Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. You too. Guys. See you guys.
So, Diana.
Right.
Snow is flying.
I saw them on the TV.
Yeah. They're.
It's time to go.
Well, it's stupid.
You're live. I don't think there's.
Because I asked Bill, I said, why don't they have their shirts on? You know, there's no letters or anything.
No,
Yeah.
it's bonding.
Okay, guys.
Oh, sorry. Oh, sure.
Certainly.
Hi, everybody on? Okay. Good afternoon. I am calling the November 12th, 2025 meeting of the Elkhart Redevelopment Commission to order. I have to read something. As a reminder to the public, the Redevelopment Commission accepts in-person public comment and virtual public comment related to specific agenda items or during the privilege of the floor. To participate virtually, please join us via WebEx and be sure you are visible and audible and that your name is displayed. Okay. First thing, approval of the October 14th, 2025 minutes. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. And I'm assuming we still have no bids for today. Oh,
Correct. We have not.
You got
thank you.
Got
You didn't
excited.
have to get up. Okay, next item, asbestos assessment and remediation bid rejection.
Good afternoon. We received bids from Star Environmental for asbestos assessment and remediation for 420 South Second and 812 South Main. Those bids came in considerably higher than what we've seen for similar projects. And so we're recommending that the bids be rejected.
Okay. Next item, parcel transfer.
No, you need a motion
Oh.
to reject those.
I'm sorry.
bids.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments from the commissioners? Questions or comments from members of the public? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Thank you, Gary. Okay, now 403 Jackson transfer.
Good afternoon. Adam Fan, Assistant Director of Redevelopment. In your packet, you have a memo from the Board of Public Works transferring the property at 403 Jackson Place to the Redevelopment Commission. So you are just accepting said transfer.
So you'd need a motion to accept the transfer of 403 Jackson Place from Board of Public Works.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments from the commissioners? Questions or comments from members of the public? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. 928 Marion Street sale.
Should be 403
403 Jackson.
first.
Oh, 403, I'm sorry. Skipped a line there.
We had an offer for 403 East Jackson, or I'm sorry, Jackson Place. If you remember, we offered, I believe it was 4 parcels at the last meeting. So we did have an offer for 403 come in, and you would be approving the sale at that offer. And then I believe the development agreement.
So you'd need a motion to accept the offer from Alondra Salazar, approve the transfer of the property to her, and approve the form of purchase agreement.
So moved.
Second.
Questions or comments from the commissioners? Questions or comments from members of the public? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Resolution approved.
Thank you.
Now, 928 West Marion.
Same thing, one of the parcels that we offered last month. This was a parcel that was attached to a gentleman's house over on Marion. Somehow lost it and in tax sale, didn't know that he owned it, wasn't paying taxes on it. I contacted him and he wants it back. So he submitted an offer.
So you'd need a motion to accept the offer and approve the transfer of the property at 928 West Marion Street to Juan and Jessica Fortozo and approve the form of purchase agreement.
So moved.
Second.
Questions or comments from the commissioners? Questions or comments from members of the public? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. And next item, Indiana Avenue Extension.
If you remember last year, we swapped some properties with a gentleman by the name of Mr. Juan. We swapped some properties, I believe it was on York Street for a property the commission owned on Indiana. He intends to put a house on the piece of property. And he needs an extension due to trouble finding some building materials. He specifically was going for a certain type of septic system, could not source those materials, and he's kind of pivoting, going back to a standard septic system and just needs an extension. I believe we are extending to August.
August 31, 2026.
Yep.
So you'd need a motion to extend the time for completion of the construction project to and including August 31, 2026.
So move.
Second.
Questions or comments from the commissioners? Questions or comments from members of the public? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed? Resolution approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Mr. Huber, Karen Drive right-of-way proposal.
Yes, good afternoon, Mike Huber, Director of Development Services, City of Elkhart. We're currently working with a developer who is assembling property off of Emerson Drive. The southern edge of that property that he is assembling is near the end of the current Karen Drive right-of-way. The city is working to determine, the viability of extending Karen Drive, but at a minimum, the city is interested in working with the owner who's assembling the property to create enough easement from the Gurley Leap folks to allow us to punch a water line through to make a loop so that the project would be served by a water line that loops down Emerson and then cross Karen and loops back into the system on Cassopolis. So that's the minimum scope of the project, is to look at trying to find and acquire the right of way to allow the water loop. As if the city determines that it's in our best interest to try to connect Karen Drive as a actual street into the development, we could expand that contract with them to look and pursue acquisition of additional right of way for the actual road.
So you need a motion to approve the employment of DLZ Indiana LLC to perform the services described in the agreement and appropriate the sum of $84,575 from the Cassopolis Street corridor allocation area and approve the form and content of the agreement.
So move.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Excuse me. Questions or comments from the commissioners? Questions or comments from members of the public? Hi.
Hello, my name's Chad Rapp and I live on Karen Drive. There's a problem with the easement, and that is that how do I put it? Gurley Leap and Gates owned on their lot, and we as homeowners back there have an easement that's been done, and they basically broke the agreement and made a deal with the city of Elkhart, but never notified us. Nobody did. And that's not what was in the original easement agreement. So basically that cancels their right of use of the easement itself. for Gates and Gurley Leap. And Karen Drive was never, what's the word I'm looking for? Given to the city, I should say. It's been a public driveway since, well, a long time, we'll just say. In my notes at home, I have a paper from the city that said that they were not interested in Karen Drive and that they would keep it as a private drive until they let us know that, there could be an opportunity that they wanted it. But we have never been given notification. Instead, the city and Gurley Leap and Gates, they made their deal without the rest of the residents' knowledge. We found out that Gates and Gurley Leap gave the city basically Karen Drive back in September of 22, I think it is. We didn't know anything about it. And until this is taken care of, I don't see where the city can even move forward with anything. They're trying to keep us in the dark. I've tried looking up everything off the city website, and I can't find anything where the city received Karen Drive. I've sent FOIA requests for anything to do with the city of Elkhart and Karen Drive, and so far I haven't received anything. I think I got 3 days left before the 30 days is up. But we really want to know what's going on because it's our place. This apartment community wants to build because it's close to the amenities. It's a nice place. That's the same reason that we want Karen Drive. I understand the city is short on housing. I understand that, things change, buildings go up, buildings come down. But in the end, no communication to us is a big problem. The fact that civil rights violations with what has already occurred is a big problem to me. And it should be a big problem to anyone for that to happen. I'll just leave it with that. Thank you.
Thank you. Is this something we need to? Oh, thank you.
Sorry, I was just waiting to see if anybody else was going to
Oh,
speak.
okay.
I'll speak to those comments. So I believe. Oh. Nope, go ahead.
Oh, that's okay.
My name is Joe Geyer. I live at 200 Karen Drive. And my question was, I just feel like it's, because like Chad was saying, we moved back there because of the privacy. We love it back there. And that's why, that's why people want to live back there. That's why they want to, of course, build apartments because it's a nice area. But my question is, I just feel like things are going in the wrong order. Like we have not been contacted regarding anything. And now they're already doing soil samples. They're already doing core samples down there. They want to put in water lines, and we haven't been contacted about anything. I just feel like you should take care of the homeowners first. If you want to buy the properties, give us offers, find out where we're at, and then move on. And I just feel like we've been really no communication. We don't know what's going on. We don't know what's going to happen or anything. And we just want to be more informed. Yeah.
Thank you.
Michael English at 100 Karen Drive. I'm right at the very end before where Karen Drive ends. Just to reiterate on what they said, we just haven't had any communication on anything that's been going on. They've been all week. They've been driving through my yard, through my property to get back to the woods there to core drill and do all this. And I haven't gotten so much as a phone call, a letter, anything, communication on what's going on, why. My understanding is I own quite a bit of that Karen Drive ends before my driveway even starts. And they're just kind of, people, it seems like they're not real sure on where everything is, and they just keep going through my yard and just not sure what's going on. We need some communication on what the plan is. You know, the water lines are the first we've heard of that. Everything that we've heard is they have to have Karen Drive for this project to move forward as a secondary entrance exit. They need two based on utilities, and they're going to be widening it and doing a whole lot, making it a main road that it isn't. So, again, it just seems like things are moving forward and a lot of money is being spent before any communication is being made. So that's all we're looking for. Thank you.
So I'd just like to start by saying I appreciate the comments and the concerns and understand the perceptions. However, this is the very initial phase of the process, and part of the contract with DLZ is to do the research on all of the existing easements and all of the, I can't speak to the status of any pending FOIA claims. It's the first I've heard of them, but that's part of the contract with DLZ, is to do the research, understand what the easements are and aren't, who has access to the easements, what the rules are that we're playing by, and to initiate contact with all of the partners or potential property owners that would be impacted by the project. So, so this is the contract to engage DLZ to start the process of doing that. The developer on his own has been working on assembling the Emerson Drive property. Again, we've had some preliminary conversations with Public Works. It's our understanding that Karen Drive is not a requirement as a secondary access, that the project can work with just primary access in and off of Emerson Drive. It's the Public Works desire to try to connect the water line as a loop. And that's why we started investigating, or included in the contract, the investigation to try to make the water line connection as the primary driver of the easement research and the contact with the property. So we're just at the very beginning. The reason they haven't heard anything from anyone is because we want to hire DLZ to start that process.
Can we be assured that DLZ, that's the first thing they will do is communicate with the property owners?
Yeah, we can make that part of the contract.
And explain
Yep,
what's happening
For
and
sure.
show them visually?
absolutely.
Okay. So-
And in terms of, we will speak with the current developer. This is, again, the first I've heard of concerns of the developer accessing property that's privately owned for some of their work that they're doing in terms of their due diligence and some of their testing. We will communicate with the developer that that's not acceptable, that they need to be accessing and entering and accessing the property from Emerson and staying on the limits of the property.
Do y'all have any response to that? Did you?
Date on when we might get communication?
I'm sorry.
Is there a date on when we might get communication?
I think we'll exit. We can talk.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
So you would need a motion. Did we already? We already.
Yeah,
did
I was asking for
the
public
second.
comment, so,
Okay.
okay. All those in favor of the contract with DLZ, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, resolution carried. And please talk with Mr. Huber. We can get this straightened out.
And if you haven't signed in, if you spoke, can you please sign in on the sheet?
Yeah.
Before you leave. That's fine.
You got plenty of time. Okay. Thank you. Okay, Soma Garden Park improvements.
So the Parks Department is planning a park improvement next to the Soma Garden on Division Street. City Parks Department, Traffic, Street, and Buildings and Grounds are all cooperating to make this happen. We are being asked to fund the fence and arbor and reconditioning of city-owned streetlights.
So you would need a motion to appropriate $22,000 from Fund 281, proceeds from sale of property, to apply to the project costs, with any balance remaining being applied to the appropriate account.
And $22,000 will cover all of that?
Yeah, the lights, the light poles and the light fixtures, we already have. Traffic has them in stock. They'll be sent out to be powder coated and any other reconditioning that needs to happen to them. And then the traffic will be installing them. The fence itself, we've had 2 quotes on that. And the provider of the fence said that they could most likely get to it in the spring. So when we get a little bit closer, that's when they'll get busy on that.
And it's all new garden equipment for the kids to play on?
Yes, that's the Parks Department's taking care of all of that.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
All right.
So we need a motion to appropriate $22,000 from Fund 281.
So moved.
Second?
Any questions or comments from the commissioners? Questions or comments from members of the public? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Resolution approved. Thank you. Okay. And contract adjustment for Woodland Crossing Shopping Center.
Yeah. So during the process of negotiating the contract with ANCON, we realized that ANCON brought to our attention that they did not include any amount for bonding. We asked them to provide us direct costs for bonds that are required for public works contracts. They provided that to us in a new budget, and we received that. The increase in cost was $28,753. It still leaves ANCON being the highest score and lowest cost for this project.
So you'd need a motion to approve the proposal and the increase of the ANCON contract price to $3,342,753 and appropriate the increased sum of $28,753 from the consolidated South Elkhart allocation area.
So move.
Second?
Oh, thank you.
Sorry. I was reading.
That's okay. Questions or comments from the commissioners? Questions or comments from members of the public? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. 420 South Second. And yeah, okay, we're doing them separately, I see. 420 South Second, asbestos remediation.
Yeah, so this will be, we'll be exercising our city contract with Clean Air Services for assessment of asbestos at 420 South Second Street.
So you'd need a motion to approve the employment of Clean Air Environmental Services, Inc. to provide the asbestos assessment at 420 South Second and appropriate the sum of $1,250 from downtown allocation area number 1 to pay for the services.
So move.
Second.
Questions or comments from the commissioners?
This is not necessarily remediation. This is inspection.
That is correct. This
And-
is survey only, and the remediation will come after.
Okay.
Questions or comments from members of the public? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution approved. And then the next one is 812 South Main asbestos remediation.
Same process, same contract with Clean Air Services for assessment or survey of 812 South Main.
So you need a motion to approve the employment of Clean Air Environmental Services, Inc. to provide the asbestos assessment on the property and appropriate $600 from the consolidated area TIF to pay for those services.
Questions or comments from the commissioners?
Oh, sorry.
Second.
Second.
Sorry. No, I got ahead. Sorry. Questions or comments from the commissioners? Questions or comments from members of the public? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Resolution approved.
Thank you.
You. 2026 spending plan.
Good afternoon. So you all should have received copies of the proposed spending plans for the city's 5 primary tax increment financing districts. I'll caveat, as you know, downtown TIF has multiple allocation areas. We're up to 7 or 8 now with the 2 new projects. Anything that's not shown here for 2, 3, 4 and up are directly project related with specific redevelopment projects, and the resources from those will go directly to making funding payments back towards either the loan or bond obligations that are related to those projects. So that would include the hotel, the Elkhart Hotel. That would include the GLC development project in the River District, and then any loan. I think allocation area 3 and 4 and 5 are for River District Zone 1, and as he continues to and executes and takes those bonds, then future revenues will go towards paying off those bonds as well. But the 5 you have in front of you are our primary TIFs. I should also caveat all of the TIFs that make up the South Consolidated typically each have their own budget sheet. Those revenues come in, they just transfer all the revenues out into the Consolidated South. So you'll see all the expenditures from all those TIFs. They basically just transfer money direct to Consolidated South. So those will be accounted for in the Consolidated South TIF budget. So we tried to allocate these in a format that matches and is complementary to the city's budget format. So you'll see there are basically 4 core line item categories: personnel, supplies, tools, and equipment, other services, which typically includes things like contract services, professional services, and then bond and loan and debt related activities. And then the last category in the 44 expense categories are capital outlay. We can start with Aeroplex. You'll see we're anticipating spending about $900,000 in 2026. The primary expenses in here relate to our support and collaboration with the Elkhart Airport. We'll be doing some runway construction. We'll be doing some reconstruction of a roof on the terminal building, and then we'll also be assisting with construction of some new hangars. In the Cassopolis TIF, we're anticipating $5.6 million of allocations. The largest drivers in there, we're anticipating dispersing $4 million of the $8 million forgivable loan for the River District Garage project we just approved last meeting. And we've got about $1 million of infrastructure for the Windsor sidewalks and the lights that go along Cassopolis along that project. In the downtown plan, we'll be spending about $6.7 million. We got a couple large expense areas. 1.5 is just our typical bond and loan debt payments that we have on an annual basis. In contract services, we see $2.5 million. A large portion of that, basically $2 million of that, is demolition of the courthouse. The city's share, the city will also get $1 million from the county for that. And then the $2 million loan disbursements, we're using $2 million out of the downtown TIF to support the Garrison, Fraser, South Main, and Freight Street projects with that direct forgivable loan. Moving to South Consolidated TIF, we'll be spending about $5.8 million next year from the South Consolidated TIF. You'll see a couple categories on here. I want to mention or point out bond and loan payments. That $770,000 is what Baker Tilly have projected our initial loan payment back for the residential infrastructure fund loan that we will be getting from the state to help fund the construction of the South Main Street sewer and water and streetscape improvements, as well as the sewer and water and parking lot improvements at Woodland Crossing. And then we've got $3.5 million also allocated towards South Main and Freight for their forgivable loan to bring the total of the $5.5 million, 2 from downtown and 3.5 from South Consolidated. And then we have about $700,000 in buildings and structures and capital outlay. That's so that we can start some of the work at the Big Lots remediation, which allows us to get reimbursed back from IEDC from those dollars. Tech Park TIF, this is the last one. We'll spend about $600,000. The big thing in here is, I think Adam may have an update on this later. We are working through IFA for another remediation grant to apply towards the Walter Piano project. I think we're looking at about $2 million for remediation. We'll need some matching dollars to be able to do some of that. So we're allocating about $500,000 in brownfield services to support the cleanup at Walter. Happy to answer any questions.
We need a motion to approve the 2026 spending plan.
So moved as presented.
Second.
Thank you. Laid that out very nicely because I'm looking, I think, you know what this is for, but thank you for laying it out for us like that. Any other questions or comments from the commissioners? Questions or comments from members of the public? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay. And this has to be in by the 1st of December?
Yeah, the controller's office will upload the gateway website as soon as they finish compiling all the information.
Okay. It goes to DLGF?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. River District Development Memorandum of Understanding.
So as we've been working through the negotiations and finalized all the agreements related to the parking garage project, obviously we have an understanding with them on zones 2 and 3 and the redevelopment of zones 2 and 3, which they were funded through IEDC through the Ready 2 project for additional commitments above and beyond the development of the garage project. And so they approached us with the concept of formalizing our memorandum, our agreement with them on the redevelopment of zones 2 and 3 in a memorandum of understanding, which you have included in your packet. Basically, it doesn't commit us to anything more than matching their required ready matching, and indicates that, we'll use tools with them that are at our disposal, try to get the right approvals once we have an acceptable development pro forma and development plan moving forward.
And we'll have the pro forma before the September 30th deadline.
We would have any pro forma prior to negotiating any formal development agreement. This is just a memorandum of understanding. This does not commit us to anything. The actual development proposal, development application, and development agreement would be the basis for any actual commitment towards specific projects.
Thank you.
And what's the deadline for what?
September 30th of next year.
Yeah, we would commit to
Fire.
having a development agreement with.
Oh, thank you.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you need a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding and authorize its execution.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Any questions or comments from the commissioners?
I'll recuse myself because I'm an adjacent property owner.
Thank you. Questions or comments from members of the public? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Resolution granted. Thank you. Okay. Boy, we got a lot of stuff this week. This month. Yeah. G and W PFAS testing.
So we were contacted recently by Brent Huber from Ice Miller related to some of the previous agreements with the defendants in the G&W case. And he recommended us to move forward with some additional PFAS testing. There's, I think, some language discrepancies. Gary might be able to describe this better than me in terms of responsibilities for cleanup for PFAS and the timing of PFAS becoming a regulated substance. It wasn't when we initially started down this path, and it is now. And long story short, Ice Miller recommends we do the PFAS testing just to confirm that we have them there so that there's no out for the defendants just on the fact that we don't know if there is prison. We can take that guesswork out.
So you would need a motion to approve the services of forensics in the amount of $18,196 to do the PFAS testing and appropriate that sum from the consolidated South Elkhart TIF.
So move.
Second.
Questions or comments from the commissioners? Questions or comments from members of the public? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution granted. Thank you, Mike. Wood and Crossing 2026 CAM budget.
Good afternoon. Gary Casca, Assistant Director of Community Development. You have before you the 2026 CAM budget for Woodland Crossing. CAM is the Common Area Maintenance Management Responsibilities we have there at Woodland Crossing. And this is paid for on a pro rata share between our tenants, and then we cover the vacant space, which becomes our leakage, which needs to be covered.
So you just need a motion to approve the 2026 CAM budget as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Questions or comments from the commissioners? Questions or comments from members of the public? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion approved. Mary, CDBG Owner Occupied Rehabilitation Program approving raising the cap.
This would be an increase in the cap of our residential rehab program from 50,000 to 75,000, partly due to increase in cost. And secondly, as we project, going into next year and getting involved in the Benham East housing redevelopment work, we wanted to have some more room there as far as what we can spend on rehabbing a home, owner occupied homes.
So you'd need a motion to approve the owner occupied rehabilitation guidelines and increase the maximum limit for owner occupied program to $75,000 per dwelling, including contingency funds.
So move.
Second.
Questions or comments from the commissioners? Questions or comments from members of the public? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. CDGB Program Community Planning Insights Contract.
This is for some consulting services, really just a continuation of consulting services from Community Planning Insights. We had some CDBG CV funds left, and we'd like to allocate that to this last quarter for our Community Planning Insight contract.
So you'd need a motion to approve the employment of community planning insights to provide technical assistance for the CDBG programs at an hourly rate of $100 and a fee not to exceed $5,620.23, appropriating that sum from the Community Development Block Grant Program Special Fund and approving the form of contract for services.
So moved.
Second.
Sorry.
Questions or comments from the commissioners? Questions or comments from members of the public? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. And Turkey Stampede Use Agreement.
In your packet, there is a request for a use agreement, or there is a use agreement for a request to use the, I believe it is Zone 2 property on Jackson Boulevard for the Turkey Stampede. I think they're just going to use it as a starting point. I don't think it's finish line 2, but they're going to use it for some porta potties and things like that.
So you need a motion to approve the request for access to property as designated on the agreement and approve the form of agreement authorizing its execution.
So move.
Second.
Questions or comments from the commissioners? Questions or comments from members of the public? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, staff updates.
The only staff update I have is you may remember that the commission took a piece of property over on Yuma off of County Road 45. It's got a pole barn on it, but we did have an offer come in for that property. So I think just a voice vote for staff to continue negotiations and have Gary write up a purchase agreement.
So you'd need a motion to approve negotiation to finalize the purchase agreement for that property.
So moved.
Second.
Questions or comments from the commissioners? Questions or comments from members of the public? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
Thank you.
Go for it. Thanks. Any other staff updates? Although I think we did it all just on the agenda. Other business, need a motion to approve the Warwick and Boyne invoice.
For the current services of $27,411.93.
So move.
Second.
Questions or comments from members of the public? Questions or comments from the commissioner? Sorry, went in the wrong order. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? And I think you see your TIF reports. Okay, and then do we have any public comment, either in person or online, virtually? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Meeting adjourned. Thank you all very much.
Okay, Luke, I have a question.